let's say I'm a business, and I am interested in moving to Oregon, and I need 500,000 square feet of space. I need flat, it needs to be flat, single level, and I might be able to grow. You know, it's like a potential for a new cluster. Where in the region would you suggest I go?
Start here?
Sure.
Okay. Well, first of all, you know, you can drive out, again, in Tomstown, go through the Dawson Creek Industrial Park, and there's a now sort of fading sign on a great big beautiful parcel that's now being farmed in the Dawson Creek Industrial Park. Governor certified, shovel-ready site. That's one of several in Greater Hillsborough, and there are others around the region. These fads come and go, but I think that's a pretty good idea and one that Metro could capitalize on. Metro has a terrific inventory of land that it's identified as vacant and available, vacant and usable for industrial development, vacant once assembled and usable, redevelopable. But I think we need to take the next step and work with local government partners to actually finish those sites so that they're shovel ready, and then market them in much the same way that the governor and EDD did with those state certified shovel ready sites. So I'd like to have a longer list in 4 years of sites within the fabric of the urban area, already zoned industrial, already zoned for employment, that we can show them on the map with Metro's powerful information tools, but with the benefit of the land assembly, service provision, wetland configuration and identification, all the other steps that are necessary to make them really shovel ready.
Tom, got any thoughts about that?
Well, Bob has identified a couple of sites. There's 3 sites, I think, in Hillsborough that would be available now, and 1 in Gresham for the kind of operation that you're talking about. And in reality, that's part of the story. And part of the story is that if a company comes to a region and they can only find 4 sites, they are likely to look at another region, simply because they don't have the assurance that if they come here, there'll be room for them to grow. And so I think that there is an opportunity for us to create some additional large sites. But it was part of what was important about the urban reserves. I think it was Mike Jordan that said at one point in his report that in order to have large lots, which you need, you have to either regulate them when they come into the urban growth boundary, or you have to keep them out of the urban growth boundary and in farm use, and then bring them in at the time that you need them. And I think that's a process that has some difficulties, but I think it's probably what we're going to wind up doing. But there are some sites around the region, but don't wait too long, because we at one point in time when the economy was flourishing, we had 7 companies looking at the 3 sites that we had in Hillsborough. So you know, if we come back to that again, we'll use those sites pretty fast.
Rex?
I guess the first thing I'd actually do is not send them out looking at a piece of land. I'd send them to Greenlight Greater Portland. And Greenlight Greater Portland is the organization on the private sector side that's about recruiting companies here. And so what they do is ask, well, what do you need? You know, what kind of site is it? Is it a marine site and you get access to the river? Well, that means you're going to be, there's 3 sites on the north side of the Columbia River, on the south side of the Columbia River and the South Shore. And there's more on the north side, actually. The jobs in the region are jobs in the region. But you have a lot of sites that are available there if you're marine industrial. Do you need to have access to educated and talented people who don't want to drive a long distance? Well, then you say, is there a place in the Portland Harbor that you can site something like that? Depends on the type of company. So I think that's the key issue, is understanding what that company needs, because it's not just land. Land is, you need land, of course, you need someplace physical to put your plant, but you also have your inputs you need. And where are those inputs? And we actually have some great economic activity that's taking place here because we have Lowe's locating in their distribution, international distribution site in Lebanon. We had Walmart locate their international distribution site in Hermiston. Those create jobs in the port, they create jobs for local distribution, and they help support the companies that are here. So the physical site, many times, is not the issue. It's about what kind of inputs do they need, what kind of resources do they need. And Greenlight Greater Portland, which is a group that I work with pretty closely, is the place where you can actually inventory. What do you need, and how can we meet that need in the region? And the region we should define as an economic region, not just a boundary that's on this map, but what makes this region, Southwest Washington, Oregon, prosperous.